All right, welcome to the Explainer. We're going to talk about something that, well, every single developer runs into sooner or later. It's that moment when your nice, simple authorization system just completely blows up into a tangled mess. We're going to look at why that happens and, more importantly, the huge shift in thinking you need to build something that actually scales. Okay, let's dive in.
Okay, so picture this. You're building a brand new app, right? Let's say it's a document management system. In the beginning, everything is super simple. It's clean, it's logical, you've got users, you've got documents, and you just need to figure out who gets to do what. And really, your first big task, the most fundamental question you have to answer is this one right here. A user, an action, a resource. Can Alice view document 1? Seems pretty straightforward, doesn't it? But, as we're about to find out, that initial simplicity, it's a trap. Today, we're going to walk through that whole journey, how these simple auth systems just inevitably break down at scale, and the really critical conceptual shift you have to make to build something that actually lasts. So in the very beginning, life is good. Your entire world of permissions, it fits perfectly into a single, super straightforward table in your database. Nice and tidy. Answering that question, can Alice view document 1? It's just one. Clean, beautiful SQL query. Look at it. It's fast, it's elegant, and you know what? Anyone on your team can look at this and know exactly what's going on. This is what we call the golden age. But then, the product manager shows up. They always do, right? And they come to you with what sounds like a tiny little request, but this is the request that kicks off a massive complexity explosion. And hey, it's a totally reasonable request, so what do? You add some tables for groups and for memberships. Now, your one simple query needs to start combining results from a few different places. You're probably using a union clause, and it starts joining tables together. It's a little more complex, sure, but it still feels manageable. And then the floodgates open. You get more features. Folder inheritance, where permissions just flow down from a parent folder. Hierarchies, where, say, an editor is also automatically a viewer. And every single one of these new requirements forces you to bolt on more tables, more joins. And pretty soon you're writing these crazy complex recursive queries. So what started as that clean, simple little query has turned into an absolute monster. I mean, look at the difference. We've gone from something linear and easy to understand to this tangled mess of complexity that's now spread all over your system. And this isn't just a database problem anymore. Oh no, this is an everything problem. And look, this isn't just about it being messy. The whole approach is fundamentally broken. Your performance goes right out the window. The logic is scattered everywhere, so good luck trying to debug anything. You've got different parts of your app getting different answers to the same question. And forget about auditing, you have no single source of truth. Your system is now slow, buggy, and just deeply insecure. So you hit this breaking point, and it forces you to step back and ask a really, really important question about how you got here in the first place. What if we've been modeling this whole thing wrong from the start? What if the problem isn't technical? It's not about the SQL or the database. What if the very foundation of how we're thinking about this is just flawed? And here it is. This is the big, powerful shift in thinking. We need to stop thinking Alice performs the action of viewing and start thinking Alice has a viewing relationship with the document. It sounds subtle, I know, but trust me. This little change in perspective, it changes absolutely everything. This single insight leads us to a completely new foundation for authorization. It's called the relation tuple model, or, well, RTM for short. Okay, so instead of all those complex tables and joins, we're going to model every single permission as a simple atomic fact. We call it a tuple. And each tuple has just 3 parts: a subject, a relation, and an object. That's it. That's the entire model. So, for example, look at this first tuple. Now, what's interesting here is that it has nothing to do with a document. It's just stating a simple fact. User Alice is a member of the admin role. That's it. It's a relationship. Okay, and now the second tuple states another simple fact. Members of the admin role are viewers of document 1. Now, did you see that? The subject of this tuple, the admin role, is the object of the one we just saw. This is how we chain these relationships together. It's like a graph. And this is the magic. This is how we handle complex roles. Instead of that giant, monstrous SQL query, we just walk the graph of these simple relationships. Can Alice view the document? Well, we check. Is Alice an admin? Yes. Can admins view the document? Yes. Done. It's just two super simple lookups. We've totally solved role-based access control, and we've done it cleanly and efficiently. But here's where it gets really powerful. The real beauty of this model is how it lets us build even more complex logic right on top of this simple foundation. Let me show you how. So we can now define these incredibly complex rules right in a central schema, just using simple Boolean logic. We can compose relationships. A public viewer could be an employee or a guest. A restricted viewer has to be an employee and have HR approval. An external viewer could be all viewers except for employees. And the best part? We're doing all of this without writing a single line of scattered application code. The logic lives in one place, cleanly defined. But you knew this was coming, right? The product manager always has one more thing. What about permissions that depend on context? Like she can see it, but only until the end of the year, or only from a specific location. We solve this with a really neat concept called caveats. Think of them as conditions that we attach directly to a relationship tuple. So the relationship exists, but it's only considered valid if the caveat, like say a check on the current time or the user's IP address, evaluates to true at the exact moment of the check. All right, so let's just take a step back and look at the whole journey we've been on. We started with that traditional approach that just got brittle and fragile, creating these monstrous queries and scattering logic all over the place. And now we have a totally new way of thinking, a system that's composable, that uses simple lookups, centralizes all of its logic, and, this is huge, gives us a single auditable source of truth for all authorization. This fundamental shift, from modeling actions in tables to modeling relationships as first-class citizens, this is really the foundation of modern authorization. And it leaves us with one final thought to chew on. What complexity is hiding in your own systems right now that's really just a relationship problem waiting to be simplified?